Good morning. I'm currently in Charlotte, North Carolina in a hotel room, but I'm leaving tomorrow to go back to Bogota. I hop on my flight to Bogota with all of the stuff that you helped me unpack last Saturday. And so I thought I would talk to you about some regrets. And I use that word very loosely. Some regrets or some things that I could have or should have, or maybe wish I had done differently about my move to Bogota. That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, my name is Stephanie Perry. Welcome to this my YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about house sitting. We talk about bopping around the world as a nomad. We talk about moving abroad, leaving the United States or your country and moving to a new country to live the life that you want to live. If these things at all are interesting to you, subscribe to the channel, please. Go ahead and hit the button. I'm just going to wait for you to do it. Yeah, I mean it. Okay, thank you. Okay. And then turn on notifications, ring the notification bell. You'll be notified when I post a new video or when I go live. Welcome. Welcome, friends. Good morning. Hey, Chanel. Hello, Linda. Good morning, Candace. Candace is Harlem minded. Buenos dias. Good morning. Opportunity awaits. Hey, LaRonda. Good morning, Rashida. Buenos dias. Hello, Valerina and Butterfly Love and Meredith and Mia Moore. Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome. You know the routine. Say good morning. Okay, we say hello here. If you're here, you say hello. Thank you. And if you're watching the replay, hello, friends in the future. I hope it's awesome there. Say hello in the chat, in the comments, in the replay comments. Say hello. Okay, thank you. All right, so I packed up all that stuff that we looked through into two big green duffel bags. All that stuff that I bought to get to take back with me to Bogota that we went through last week. I did an unpacking video in case you missed it, a live stream. All that fit in two duffel bags, and then the clothes and stuff that I wanted to take, all of that fit into my two suitcases, basically, two medium check bags. So I have all of that to take back with me. I'm attending an event here in Charlotte today, and then for early Sunday morning, I get on my flight and I head back to Bogota, back to my home, my new apartment. So I thought today we would talk about some of the things that I would probably advise you to do differently or consider doing differently. Okay? Because, if I didn't do it, I didn't do it. I'm not a super regret-filled person. I don't like the feeling of regret. So, and normally I can parse out like what is going to make me feel regret if I don't do it. Let me at least do that. And then the other stuff, if I didn't do it, I didn't do it. Right? I didn't do it because I didn't feel like doing it. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay? So let's talk about some things that I may, want to bring to your attention for your future move abroad. Okay. I know. I'm so excited. I'm so glad to go back. This will be my first time going, like leaving town and going back. Normally, when I leave town from a place, I've been traveling full time since September of 2015. Sometimes I say 2019 because I forget what numbers, years are funny. But since September of 2015, which is 9 years, sometimes I'd be like 2019 because I get 9 confused. But since September of 2015, I've been traveling full time, and almost never do I leave a place and then come back to that exact same place, right? I'm in a house sit, I leave the town. If I come back to town, I'm probably not in the same house. I leave, I'm in an Airbnb or a VRBO or a vacation villa or a hotel. When I come back, I probably don't come back to the exact same place. So this is very exciting. When I told the security guard that I was going to my parents' house and I was coming back on the 10th, I think I told him the 11th, but it was the 10th. Yeah, it's the 10th. When I said that, I was like, oh, this is so official. I texted my landlord just in case something happened in the building and whatever. Texted my landlord, I'm going, I'll be back on these dates. It was really a nice thing. So let's talk about the things that I would say, maybe you want to do this a little bit differently. And some things that I did right some things I did wrong and some things I did right. So number one, so I'm going through the residency process in Bogota. It's not the residency process. I'm going through the digital nomad visa process in Bogota. And I didn't get my background check completed and my documents apostilled when I was in the US. And so when I got to Bogota, they came to the apartment that I was staying in, did my fingerprints to start the background check process, but everything would have been so much faster if I had started the process in the US, if I had gotten my background check while I was still in the United States. So if you're considering moving to a place or going through a process that's going to require your background check, go ahead and get your fingerprints done now, get the background check now, get it, have it, right? Have it so that you can send it to the people. Because that added, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks to the process, according to the man that I'm working with. So that's a thing. And then I also had to get some documents apostilled as a self-employed person. If I had thought about it, I probably could have just waited until I came to Delaware this last week. But I had sent him the stuff already while I was in Bogota. Do the stuff. If you know you're going to need some documentation, some legal paperwork, whatever, go ahead and gather it now. I think the women in the Exodus ASAP membership, that's a thing that they're doing that puts them so far ahead of me as a move abroader, right? Even though I'm hosting the co-founded the Exodus ASAP membership, some of the women in the membership are doing things in such a better way than the way I did them. Okay, so that's a place where they're winning. Get that stuff done. So getting my background check in Colombia, as far as I know, it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. I don't ask a lot of questions. He gave me a flat fee, a flat number. I didn't ask him to break down how much is for this and how much is for that. So I don't think the money is an issue, but I do think that the time, it's taking more time. Because even my landlord is like, girl, when are you getting your cedula? When are you getting your own number? Because she pays my utilities and I pay her. She don't want to keep doing that, right? Even though I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Olga's pretty chill. But if I were you, I would Google how to get your background check in your state, right? How to get the fingerprints taken in your state and do it. Now, the worst part of this whole story is that I got my fingerprints done for Costa Rica maybe 2 years ago. Now, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, but more than a year and a half ago. I was in Delaware and I got my fingerprints taken and I got the fingerprint card, but I never mailed it off to the FBI to get the background check done. I don't even know if that's really how you do it. I left that office with my fingerprint card and I was supposed to then send the card to someone to initiate the background check process, and I never did it. So I could have had my background check done before. As we've said, listen, if I don't do something, I didn't do it. It's costing me extra time and probably extra money. Don't be like me. If you think you're going to be moving abroad in the next year and your process of moving to a place requires a background check, just go ahead and do it. Put it on your calendar for this week. At least like this week, put on your calendar, research, do I need it, right? This week, do I need fingerprints to get residency in XYZ country? Next week, how do I get my fingerprints and background check? And then the week after that, go and get your fingerprints and background check, right? Go ahead and do it. Don't be like me. Okay, don't be like me. But a thing that I did right. So I told you I was going to tell you a thing I regret, but then a thing that I did do right. Doing a thing that I've done right is getting facilitators to help me with things. People who know how to do something, having them do it for me instead of me trying to figure things out for myself. So I'm using an attorney in Colombia to facilitate this process. It's a law firm. I'm in a group called something about expats in Colombia or something, expats in Bogota, something. And so there were a couple of people that they recommended. So I reached out to one of those offices. And I do feel good about that. I feel good that I don't have to figure things out. I love that. I love it. That's the way I live my life. I'm not figuring it out. Somebody's already figured it out. All I need to do is get them to help me. I spend the money and save the time, spend the money, save the frustration, spend the money, save the hair pulling out. So that's a thing I did right. I also had a facilitator for my residency process in Mexico. This is my Mexico temporary residency card. I have 4-year residency in Mexico and also used a facilitator. A whole bunch of the gang from the Exodus ASAP membership went down to Mexico together and got our residency. We did a group in March and a group in April. And again, facilitators make the difference. So, okay, you may have heard, this is not a video about residency in Mexico, but you may have heard that they suspended their Mexican residency process of regularization. Individuals, Black women who are hooked up with the right facilitator are still able. I'll say, I have heard of 2 women getting residency in Mexico through regularization, or 2 families still getting their residency in Mexico through regularization with the right facilitator. You ain't heard it from me, okay? But if you have the right facilitator, there are people who are still getting this done, okay? I will give you the link to the Exodus ASAP membership right here in the chat, okay? Because our facilitator, this is not a promise and this is not a guarantee. I'm not saying if you join Exodus ASAP, the facilitator that we connect you to or that we give you, whose contact information we share with you can get you residency through regularization, okay? But I'm saying she has gotten a couple families residency through regularization, even though they say the process is over. Exodus ASAP is exodusasap.com. I will link you to that right now. Copy, paste. It's Africa Month, actually, in Exodus ASAP. We just had a session on Namibia on Thursday. We had a speaker come in and talk to us about her process of getting residency and starting a business. She and her husband started a business in Namibia. So it's Africa Month, but if you want that contact information, I would join us at exodusasap.com. Okay, so the thing I did wrong, listen, the fingerprints, all the stuff, all the legal stuff. If I had started it before I was in Colombia, things would have been much faster. I didn't, okay? But you might want to do that. That was number 1. Okay, so my number 2 thing is, I wish I had figured out how to use a shipping partner in Colombia. So let me start this from the very beginning. I can get anything I need in Colombia. It's a country. It's a full country with people who live there and live complete lives. So it's not as though I'm moving to some place. I'm not moving to New Guinea where you got to take everything with you. This is Colombia. Bogota is a city. It's a city. There's IKEA there, right? There's a Costco-like store called Price Smart, right? You can get everything you want, but you don't necessarily get, when it comes to comfort items, the stuff we get in the United States is better. So this was what most of the video was about last week. Sheets and towels, linens in the United States, they feel so much better. I only bought 600 thread counts. Not like I had 800 and some thread count sheets. I only bought 600 thread count sheets, but they feel so good compared to what you can get in Colombia. I've seen 200s only. Maybe I saw a 300 somewhere, but I don't recall. I don't think I've even seen 300 thread count sheets. 200 thread counts, and even for 200, I'm like, this could still be better. This does not feel good. Why don't they like sheets here that feel good? So comfort items. Instead of having a way to get them in Bogota, when I came back to Delaware for my dad's birthday, I had a bunch of stuff shipped to me and is now in 2 humongous green duffel bags to take back to me, 50-pound duffel bags. So, but what do I wish? I wish that I had found a good shipping partner like I did in Costa Rica. So in Costa Rica, in San Jose, Costa Rica, I used a company called My USA Ship. And the way it works is you sign up with them, you pay them. There's either a monthly fee or a per shipping fee or something like that. I paid them the monthly fee. I think it was $10 a month. Anything I ordered from wherever on the internet in the United States was delivered to a Florida address that they gave me. And then twice a week, I think, they put things on a boat or a plane and flew them or shipped them from Florida to me in San Jose, Costa Rica, and then delivered them to the condo I was staying in. So My USA Ship was really helpful in Costa Rica. I only used them twice. I don't remember what I got the first time I needed my Exodus Summit t-shirt. I got my Exodus Summit t-shirt, some stuff, small things, and it cost me like an extra $20 to get it. The month later, I got makeup, other small things shipped to me, and it cost me a lot more. I want to say $65 for like a couple mascaras. It was something. I don't know. It was a lot more relative to the value of the items. But I wish I had found that in Bogota before I moved to Bogota. I'm not saying it's too late. I'm just saying that I went to the My USA Ship site last week while I was in Delaware, or this week while I was in Delaware. I canceled my Costa Rica account because I'm not in Costa Rica anymore. And I accidentally had bought something and didn't change something from someone I had bought something from before, and didn't change my shipping address. It went to Florida. So now it got stuck in Florida, right? Anyway, so I canceled my Costa Rica My USA Ship account and then tried to open up a Colombia My USA Ship account. And they were like, oh no, declined. So I don't know if it's because they don't ship to Bogota, even though I think the site said they did, or because they ship a lot of places, or if they think I'm doing something fraudulent because I closed and then opened, or if it's because I left a package, it was a small package there and they had to dispose of it. They charged me a fee for it. So I don't know. So right now I have no shipper. I'm going to have to go Google. It's not going to be a big deal, but it would have been a nice thing to have fixed before I got there, or to have fixed before now, because so like Exodus Summit is Indigenous Peoples Weekend or Columbus Day weekend. So Exodus Summit is October 10th through 13th. And I like to wear a new outfit every day of Exodus Summit, even though you only see this much of me, right? From the boobs up is all you see of me during the summit, an online event. I really, really like to wear something new every day of the summit. And so, it's time to get to shopping and get to shipping. I did buy a couple of things that got delivered to me in Delaware. They're in my suitcase right back there. As a matter of fact, you can see my suitcase over my shoulder. They're over there. So I may be good and I may want to buy another something. And then, so also Bogota, as I've said, is a shopping city. It's not like San Jose, Costa Rica. So I may find what I want there. I may find something that I, like there. I like to feel good and I like to feel special during the Exodus Summit weekend. But there is all the stores I don't know about all the stores, but there's malls on malls on malls, and there's stores there. And so I may be able to find what I need without getting something shipped. Because I don't know that there's a Banana Republic who's a place that I like, but there's other things. So I may be able to get it. Adelia says those sorts of services seem to be prevalent in Central America and the Caribbean. Unsure if they work in South America. Oh, I think they did have Bogota on their list. So I need to contact somebody. It may be because I might be on their bad girl list because I had something shipped to them and then was like, oops, can you return that? And then they charged me a fee and whatever. Or it may just be because it looks suspicious and I need to talk to somebody. So I'll figure it out. I think they do that. But now that you say that, walking around San Jose, Costa Rica, you could see shipping places. They'd have an American flag and they would say USA shipping something. And I don't know that I've seen that at all in Colombia. I also don't know about their marketplace called Mercado Libre. So they're like Amazon. It's called Mercado Libre. And once I get a cedula, I'll be able to shop online in Bogota, in Colombia. But until I get a cedula, I can't shop on Mercado Libre. So I don't know how that's going to work. I have looked at prices and they're as expensive as you would think. Like 30 to 50% more expensive than going to the store, than if you could get the thing right there. So that's the thing. That's the thing that I need to figure it out. It's time again. We're back in Exodus Summit season. Rashida and I are so very business. We're back in Exodus Summit season. Tickets, okay? The first tickets for Exodus Summit 2025 will be on sale before you know it. If you're not hooked up with us through email, you'll want to get hooked up with us through email. The easiest way to get on the Exodus Summit email list is go to exodussummit.com/newsletter. But let's see, that's not the funnest way. The funnest way to get on our email list, the most fun way to hear what's happening and make sure that you don't miss Exodus Summit things, the most fun way is taking our quiz. Which country should I move to? exodussummit.com/quiz. That's the most fun way. Okay. If you have done that already, you should be getting our emails. If you have not done that yet, go ahead and do it so that you don't miss it when we're like, Exodus Summit, here are our speakers. Time to get your tickets. Here's the link. Make sure you sign up for the sessions, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So Arlene says she's used Interline for large and small items. Interline. I'm just going to go ahead and open up that website right now. Interline. I'm going to type in shipping and see what comes up. Easier than containers. Do not rent. No, that's not it. Interline Global. I don't know. It's not nothing showing up for Interline. Okay, nothing showing up. Okay. I don't see it. Let's see if anybody else. Yes, beautiful items in Colombia. So this is Colombia is a place where I think I'll rely less on shipping things from the US. For me, the difference is Costa Rica, they're not really into shopping like that. In Costa Rica, if a woman in Costa Rica wants to do some shopping, she flies to Panama, she flies to Miami, she goes somewhere else. In Colombia, if a woman wants some stuff, she gets it right there in Bogota. But I am bigger than the average Bogotan, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to find things that fit me. So it's it's a different reason. It's for a different reason that I need to figure something out. Yeah. Mercado Libre was like every website in Costa Rica is like, you want to do what? You ain't got no cedula and you want to buy a notebook? You ain't got no cedula and you want to buy a mascara? Get out of here. No. IKEA, you want to buy a lamp and you don't have a number in Colombia? No. So I need to get on it. So first thing that I wish I had done was gotten my background check and stuff done in the US. But I did get a facilitator, so I feel good about that for both residencies. The second thing was figuring out the shipping. The third thing I wish I had done before moving to Bogota, I wish I had spent a couple of months in East Africa. Now that I have rent to pay, now that I have rent and utilities, I wish I had taken myself to Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda already. I knew that. So quite a while ago, I made a list of places that I need to get to hasta pronto. And Fiji was on the list. So what I did right was I did go to Fiji. 50th birthday, Fiji. It was fantastic. Rashida, Catrice, y'all agree? 50th birthday in Fiji was amazing. And I feel really good about that. I feel great about it. I still get the email list from Fiji Airways. I mean, I still get their newsletter and they'll be like, on sale, on sale. And even the sale price is like, now that I have rent to pay, I would probably wish that I had. I'm glad. Hold on. Let me turn this off. My do not disturb is supposed to automatically turn on at different times and junctures, and it doesn't work. My computer do not disturb sometimes does not communicate with my phone do not disturb. Stupid. Yeah. So going to Fiji, that I did that already. Now that I have rent to pay and utilities. Truth be told, my rent is less than my average, what is the word? Airbnb bill. My Airbnb bill, I had gone from, when I was traveling in 2015, my accommodation budget was $16 a day, 16 times 30. For an 80. I know that number. For a month was my max budget for accommodation in 2015 when I was staying in hostels. Then I started house sitting. You absolutely are. Yes, thank you. Then I started house sitting and stuff. My accommodation budget lately has been max. This is max. I would book, if I was booking an Airbnb for a month, like when I went to Mauritius, somewhere else, my max Airbnb budget was less than my rent is now. Okay, so if I saw a 4,000, like Cape Town, I think Cape Town, Morocco, even though we didn't stay in that house for a month, my monthly Airbnb max budget was thousands of dollars a month more than my rent. So I think I'm still going to come out on top because house sitting, last year I probably house sat 2 months only. So I think I'm still having rent to pay. It's still going to be less expensive than staying in Airbnbs. But I need to actually look at the numbers when I travel now. Because I didn't have rent to pay, if I'm spending $4,000 for this month in this Airbnb in Mauritius, it is what it is, right? I'm spending $4,000 for the month. But now, all of my money has to also include home expenses plus travel. So I wish I had gone to Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda. If you have seen me in person since February, I've probably told you that I think I'm going to be in Nairobi, Kenya in June. I don't know if that's going to happen anymore. It may be a different country, starts with a B, rhymes with Brazil, maybe the other country in June. We think there will be some sort of Exodus Summit Fun Time meetup. Maybe Brazil, maybe Nairobi, Kenya. We don't know where in Brazil. There's only 3 cities that people really talk about. Maybe a 2-city meetup. I don't know. Not for financial reasons, but because, 2 people get a vote on where we go. 2 people have to vote on where we go. But I do wish I had spent a good 3, 4, 6, 10, 12 months bopping around Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda. I had Zanzibar on my list of places. I was like, I need to make sure I get to Zanzibar, Fiji. My last list, Zanzibar, Fiji, and Mauritius. I got 2 out of 3. So I feel good about that. But I do, East Africa, it's expensive. It's far. And I'm going to want to be there for a significant amount of time, I think. We'll see how it works out. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted on things. Okay, I'll keep you posted. But June, if I were you in June, I would look up right now. If you have seen our meetups if you saw the Vietnam meetup, during which, close to 100 women who converged from all over the world to meet up with us in Vietnam in February. Katrina is still in Cambodia. Like, they're still in Southeast Asia. Hi, Janice. I need to message you. Hi, Janice. I hope you're recovering well. Hi. Some of the women are still in Southeast Asia from the meetup. They started in Southeast Asia because of the meetup. They're still there. That was February. Okay. All right. If you saw that and you were like, y'all not doing this again without me. Okay. I would block off the month of June, 2026. And I would get my little travel savings account. I would put money specifically in an account for that purpose. And I would block off more than June if you think you're going to want to do some bopping around. Like we said, it's Africa month in Exodus ASAP. So hopefully, I think we will have one of the speakers who's coming into Exodus ASAP this month is a woman who is currently bopping in Africa, because bopping in some places is easier than others. Bopping around in Southeast Asia, bopping around in Mexico, easy. Bopping around in Africa, a little more challenging. So I believe we have a speaker coming to talk to us about that. June 2026, country, starts with a B, rhymes with Brazil. I don't know what city. I've been to Salvador de Bahia. I've been to Salvador. I don't think it's city though. I think we would meet up in another city and then y'all could go to Salvador if you have the time as well. I don't think it's a meetup city unless I'm missing something. Salvador is a city for people to live in, but it's not the most exciting travel city. I've not been to Sao Paulo, but it seems more fun-timey. And Rio, the beaches are more beachy. And then, when I was a full-time nomad, the nomad kids, they love them some Florianopolis, which is far. I don't know that Florianopolis is worth a visit on its own, but it's a less expensive place. It's beautiful and less expensive. So I don't know what city it would be, but we'll see. I don't know that Bahia. I think you and anybody who's planning on coming should plan on visiting 2 cities in Brazil, right? If you're planning on coming, if we're doing it in Brazil, plan on 2 cities, right? Plan on us meeting somewhere, and then you also go to Bahia, go to Salvador. Because women, when they come to the meetup, they like to go on excursions. Salvador is not really an excursion city. The excursion I did was a 3-night stay at the national park. It wasn't like I did a day trip, a day tour. They like excursions, and then they like some pampering. I don't know that you can do that. I don't know that Salvador is that. I think Rio or Sao Paulo are that. And then you also get to Salvador and see Black people. I might be wrong. Is Kenya completely out? No, we don't know. Okay, I'm telling you, they're both planned for either one. As soon as we know, you'll know. But I would plan for either one. Yeah, Rio, I've never been to Rio or Sao Paulo, so I don't have a preference. Just like in South Africa, we met in Cape Town and almost everybody also went to Johannesburg, right? Plan for this to be a 2-city meetup, at least. Okay. We're going to meet in a place where we can do excursions, where you can get some luxury for less. That used to be what I called house sitter school. I used to call it luxury for less. Okay. I think if we go to Nairobi, it would still be that. We would do some Nairobi, but you would also want to get to the beach, right? So wherever we meet up, plan on it being a 2-city tour. Okay? Plan on it being a 2-city meetup. And you're going to need to hook up with some other women in the community, find out where they're going and when they're going, and double fist it. Okay? Double fist this meetup. Yeah, I didn't say Brasilia. I don't think Brasilia is worth it. I said so either Sao Paulo or Salvador or Rio. Uh, oh yeah. I fly business class now. Hi, Christine. Yeah, is it worth the money? Yes, except on Aeromexico. I don't believe Aeromexico business class is business class. I don't care what you tell me. Yeah, I think it's worth the money. If you're flying more than 4 or 5 hours, it's worth it. I, as a bigger body person, really enjoy not having people up on me, right? But I enjoy the lounge. In some countries, in some airports, I shouldn't say some countries, in some airports, when you fly business class, I don't have global entry, as we've talked about many a time. I don't have global entry or TSA pre-check. None of my credit cards give me that. My credit cards give me TJ Maxx gift cards, right? None of my credit cards give me that. Um, but when you're flying business class in some airports, you don't even go through the same line as everyone else, right? So the process starts very early. You get your free checked bags without haggling for things. You don't, it's not, they're not nickel and dime you for bags and seat assignments and whatever. You get your free check bags. The process, everything is just faster and easier, expedited. You get to the airport, you're not standing in line with people to check your bags and whatever. Somebody's do there. You go to the counter, they do it all for you. Then you go to security. The process is often expedited if you don't have something like TSA pre-check and clear and whatever, which I don't have. It's often expedited, not always. You get to sit in the lounge. Most of the time, it's another reason Aeromexico not worth it. Mexico City, they closed both lounges at the same time. Mexico City closed both Aeromexico lounges. Why would you do that? Aeromexico and me are not friends. You sit in the lounge. There's snacks. Sometimes the snacks is a meal. Sometimes it's literally snacks. But you get to sit in there in a more relaxed environment. Boarding, not a whole lot different. You get on the plane. You have a handful of people with a flight attendant instead of a whole plane getting the flight attendant. You get champagne. You get a full meal. Again, unless you're flying Aeromexico, you get a full meal, always on dishes with silverware, whether it's Copa Airlines or whatever. You get a full meal with dishes with silverware with whatever. You get off the plane first. So, which means you get through immigration first. And your bags are supposed to be tagged priority. So you're supposed to get your bags first. For me, that's also hit or miss. I find it worth it, but you do what you want to do. But yeah, I fly business class. Like, I don't know how you would go back. I don't know how you would go back after experiencing business class. I don't know how you go back. Unless your only business class experience is Aeromexico, you probably won't want to go back. Some airlines do such a good job. So the food on Air France, I can't remember. The food on Air France was like phenomenal. It was amazing. But I don't remember which. We flew Air France to, I think we only flew Air France from France to Iceland. Me and Connie Perry. But I remember that food being really, really good. You get food service over and over. So when you're flying, like we flew Emirates from New York to Dubai to Cape Town, or maybe Johannesburg. Cape Town. We flew to Cape Town and then we left from Johannesburg. Meals on meals on meals. Emirates gave us pajamas, which I still have. And I gave somebody an extra pair of pajamas, right? They're really, really soft loungewear. I still wear that loungewear. And like food on food on food. When I flew to Vietnam, I flew Cathay Pacific to Hong Kong. So the flight from LA to Hong Kong, I ate so much soup. Dumpling was a dump. I ate wonton soup, some sort of dumpling soup, some sort of other soup. Just feed me over and over. The Emirates plane had a little lounge section, One time I'm looking for Connie Perry. She's back in the lounge in her pajamas talking to another lady, making friends, right? They had a little lounge and that counter had like grab and go items. It's a different experience internationally. Now, business class in the US is different. Business class in the US, they try to cheap out on you. I don't often fly inside of the US. Like right now, I drove from Dover, Delaware to Charlotte. I drove here. I don't often fly business class inside of the US. You got to be careful with the lounges. Delta business class, first class tickets don't come with lounge access inside of the US. They really do the cheapest thing possible. But international business class or business class out of the US, I think it's worth I think it's worth it. Okay? You have to understand that I'm also a person who is like, I don't money is not real. Money is not a real thing. Money is not real. Money is just it has no value other than to spend. Money doesn't have value. There's no value in collecting money, only in spending money. Right? That I sincerely believe that those numbers in your bank account mean nothing until you go to spend it. When you spend it today versus when you spend it in 10 years, the value is different. So you might as well spend it today. Okay. Oh, the lay flat seat. How did I forget that? How did I forget the lay flat seat? Getting on an airplane. How did I forget the most important? Getting on an airplane, sitting down in your seat, and after takeoff, laying down in a bed to flying in a bed, it's worth it. It's worth it. In the US, I've gotten lay flats if I fly cross country. And one time I got a lay flat from Dallas to Miami. So sometimes now I'll look and see, let's see which if is one of these flights on a flight that's going to give me lay flat. If I have a choice between, let's say I have a choice between United and American from Bogota, right? I'll be like, who's doing lay flats? Neither one of my flights was lay flat coming here from Bogota to Miami to Philly. But I don't know how I forgot that part. Flying in a bed? Yes, it's worth it. It's worth it. I would, if I wanted to try out first class or business class, I would try it outside of the US, right? On a flight either out of the US or leaving the US and going somewhere else. In the US, I wouldn't try first class or business class with Delta, is what I'm saying. Unless you know for sure you're going to have access to a lounge. Maybe your credit card gives you lounge access anyway. Delta will really cheat you. And for no matter how hard I try, some of y'all still live in and around Atlanta. Tammy T, I just saw a lay flat deal, LAX to London, 60,000 points. You could buy that for 1,800 on Air France. I'm telling you, that food on Air France, they gave us a little card with the chef's name. Of course, it was French. So, a little cheese course. There were more courses than I'm used to. So I'm used to, they come with the hot towel. Then they give you the nuts. Then they give you the meal. Then they, and often the bread separate. Somebody comes around with the bread. And the dessert is usually in the meal. But on Air France, they took their time with that meal service. There was the cheese course, right? It was very European. And the food itself was just very good. Emirates also, we had very good food. I think Iceland Air. I think we flew Iceland Air from Iceland here. I don't really remember. Let me say this. I've had good food on almost every airline except for United, even international. I've flown international United. It's also always garbage. United's food is always garbage. But I haven't had lounge problems with United, right? And I feel like years ago, but that wasn't business class. The food on TAP Air Portugal left a lot to be desired. Like they did. It was very slow. The service was very slow. instead of here's everything on one plate. It was like, and now the cheese course, and now the whatever. One time I woke up on the Emirates flight and they were standing over me with a thing, and I thought they were giving me the whole thing. I was like, oh, thank you. It was little tiny individual petit fours. And I was like, oh, thank you. They're like, no, ma'am, take one. Which one? Which one? I'm like, you coming at me with a box of snacks? I'm gonna say thank you and take the box of snacks. Coffee Spills the Tea says, in the US, JetBlue Mint is the only business class that matters. No lounge, but you get a good experience. Yeah, JetBlue Mint doesn't exist on every flight, right? JetBlue does not have first class on every flight. They have first class on specific routes. United, terrible food. Like, not just not good. I don't really expect good food on an airplane, but terrible food. United, like, it's intentionally bad. I don't understand it. It's terrible food, but you're gonna get in the lounge. So I used to fly United from Costa Rica. In Central and South America, United and American are often priced very similarly. Now I've switched to Copa. Now I'm a Copa girl. I didn't fly Copa this time, and I don't remember I think it's because I waited too late to get my ticket, and Copa's price had gone up. Often with business class and first class, you don't see that price jump that you see with coach. And so lately I wait until the last minute to book my flight, and I think Copa had gone out of range. Like, I'm not paying that. But United, terrible food. American's going to be okay. Delta, I'm not flying Delta. I'm not flying through Atlanta. You can keep Delta. I'm okay with never flying Delta again. All right. Okay. Did we cover the airplanes? Yeah. So there are airlines where the economy experience is going to rival first class in for some other airlines. Emirates and so Eva Joyce is saying Turkish Airlines economy, A+. Emirates and Qatar Airways, coach, have a reputation of being extremely amazing. No meetup in Charlotte. I'm not even here for 48 hours. I got here last night about 10 p.m. and I leave tomorrow before 6 a.m. Early. So no meetup in Charlotte. I'm going to an event and that's it. Iceland. Okay, so Bedina Bibi, this is great. Screenshot this, friends. So she's saying Iceland Air, Emirates, Qatar, Kenya, Turkish Air, Egypt Air. I don't know about that one. I would put a question mark. If I was going to take a screenshot, I would cross out Egypt Air. Alaska, Aer Lingus, Copa, free stopovers. I should have read the whole thing. Free stopovers. Yes. So for my birthday party, I said to Catrice, you come in for my party to Bogota, fly Copa, because they'll give you a free stopover in Panama City. For some airlines, a free stopover just means you can you can stay in their hub city for 3 days or 2 days or whatever extra. And it's the same ticket. So you're just paying that price. But in some cities, the stopover includes a hotel stay. I didn't do the Emirates stopover correctly. I booked me and Connie Perry's tickets and I didn't do a stopover correctly. So we got transportation. We got transportation to the airport from our stopover hotel. Both ways. I think they took us to the hotel and picked us up at the hotel. I think I did it wrong, but I paid for a hotel because I messed it up. I don't remember what the problem was. I don't know if you had a certain amount of time to book the hotel or something. I did something wrong. But Emirates stopover program included a hotel in Dubai and transportation to and from the hotel. And transportation once we landed in Cape Town to the hotel in Cape Town. Stopover. But sometimes the stopover just means you get to stay in that city for a couple of days. Maybe you'll get a discount on some hotels. Yeah, stopovers. Okay, I apologize for the Egypt Air. I didn't know where we were going with this. I thought Bedina was listing out airlines that she loves, not airlines with the stopover. Yeah, do the stopover. If you have, take your time when we travel. We take our time. Use your vacation days, your whatever days. If you're retired, take your time when you travel, um, and do a stopover. See another place. I've never flown Latham Airlines. Are they Colombian? It's a South American airline. I've never flied them. I've never flied them. I've never flown them. I did fly. What's the one you don't like, Rashida? I did fly that one. I had no complaints, but also my refund took a year. The other one with an S, the Colombian airline that starts with an S. I wouldn't recommend it, but I got where I was going. If you have, okay, hey, Manny is reminding you, if you have trusted house sitters, you get 2 lounge passes. I think they use priority pass. So, there are lounges that are affiliated with airlines. There are also like independent lounges that operate around the world. And I think, it's Avianca. Rashida's like, we don't know her. Okay. We're not down with Avianca. I didn't have a problem with them, but I wouldn't recommend them. Trusted House Sitters gives you a couple of lounge passes per year. I think it's with priority pass. So no problems. Yeah, stopover is a long intentional layover in a place where the airline, normally if you want to fly from Atlanta to Panama City to Bogota, but you want to stay in Panama City, Panama for 3 days, that's a separate ticket. You fly from Atlanta to Panama City, and that's one ticket. And then you can't just have 3 days in the middle. You can have a layover of 6 hours, 3 hours, but you can't have a layover 3 days. Some airlines allow that layover of 3 days. They call it a stopover. And again, some airlines give you, and sometimes a stopover includes either a nicely discounted hotel. Sometimes a stopover includes some sort of tour, maybe a hop off bus of your own, for that airline or something. Sometimes it includes just a discount. Yeah. Coffee Spills the Tea says Japan, free hotel if you're staying overnight. Is that Japan Airlines? I flew Japan. I think I also remember Japan Airlines coach being a good experience. All right. Hey, Viv, I hope you'll answer. Have you ever had issues house sitting in the UK? I'm worried about returning so soon that they may question me. I don't know what you're saying. Ever had issues house sitting in the UK? No. I house sat in the UK for a winter, early spring, like maybe January to April or February to April. No issues. I'm worried about returning so soon that they may question me. No, the US passport allows you so many days in the UK, as long as per 180 days, so many days in 180 days. As long as you're in that number, in that window, you should be fine. You should be fine. They don't, it's, now anytime you come in contact with an immigration officer, they may be a jerk. But there are rules about how many days Americans can come out of 180. I don't remember what the rules are. Is it 180 out of a year or 90 out of 180? Something. As long as you're in that standard, as long as you're not out, as long as you haven't had too many days in a country, you're good to go. Remember, you're a tourist, right? You're not there working. House sitting is not work. You're not getting paid. You're a tourist. You're a visitor. Whatever their visitor rules are, as long as you're within those rules, you're good to go. On the Go with JoJo says it's 90 days out of 180. Whatever it is, 6 months. So Viv's saying 180. JoJo says 90. Whatever the rule is, as long as you're within that standard. And the calendar, the calendar is a rolling calendar. As long as you're within the standard, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, so that's why there are certain airlines that people like to fly no matter where they're going. Sometimes it matters. So, the price can vary significantly, but sometimes if you know such and such has a good, like Turkish Airways, right? If I don't know if Turkish Airways has a stop. No, was it on our list earlier? If you know you want to spend some time in Turkey, it may be worth it to fly to Ghana through Turkish Airways. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. But I'm just saying stopovers are a real thing that can often determine how you want to travel to a place, right? If I was going to Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, if I was going to do that little loop, um, I may consider I'm going to fly Emirates or Qatar Airways. Well, not right now. I don't know. Right now, are we flying through the Middle East? But Turkish, I would probably consider Turkish Airways as my way to get there. So I could spend a couple of days in the city that I haven't been to yet. Y'all know. I would consider that. It's a thing. Yeah, you're a visitor. When you're house sitting, you're a visitor. You're not working. That's why you're not getting paid. You're a tourist. Why are you here? I'm on vacation, right? Or travel or whatever y'all say. All right. All right. So my third thing. So I wish I'd gotten a background check. I wish I had figured out the My USA ship. I wish I had spent a little time in East Africa already. Um, Now, if I were you, this is not a thing that I wish, but if I were you, I probably would have scouted another city in Colombia before committing to getting an apartment in Bogota. If I were you, I probably would have flown to Medellin, right? Because Avianca is not the best, and they don't have business class on every flight, but you can fly coach from Bogota to Medellin probably for $50. So maybe at least a long weekend. If I were you, I don't regret this, but if I were you, I probably would bop to another city in the country before I commit to the city that I've committed to. That's the thing. I haven't been to Medellin yet. Right now, the Flower Festival, I think is still happening. Anita, did you go? Did you go to the Flower Festival? They have a big international flower show happening in Bogota, in Medellin. But yeah, that's a thing that I probably would have done. Okay. Mm. You don't necessarily need to scout multiple places. If you get somewhere and you just feel good there and you don't have any regrets, like you don't have any things that you're missing that you think another city could fulfill, I'm okay with you just picking that place, right? I've traveled full time for almost 10 years. So I think I have a realistic picture of what I will and won't like about a place, right? I can figure out those things. And so I don't have regrets about having still not been to Medellin. Clearly, because if I thought that I should visit Medellin, I would have. But you might, right? You might regret that if you don't do it. So it's a thing that I would add in. Anita's in. Anita is the global granny. She's still in Medellin. There are many ways to celebrate. Okay, so they're having the flower festival right now. It's a big thing. Right. I put it on my calendar for next year, so I might stop in next year. See what my dad's birthday is. See if I can squeeze in both next year. Yeah. Um, yeah. Check out a couple places in that city. Traveling from place to place in country is usually much easier than we're used to in the US. So in the US, let's see. It's probably the difference between Atlanta and Miami. No, I mean, yeah, Atlanta and Miami. The difference between, I don't know. I don't know. But instead of it costing hundreds of dollars, it costs tens of dollars to get from one city to the next. So you can scout out a couple of places in the city. If you take your time, you can scout out a couple of places in one country um, more easily than we're used to in the US, right? I looked at trains from Delaware to Charlotte. It takes 8 hours to drive. Less, it could take less. It took me 9 because I forgot it was a summer weekend. The traffic was horrendous coming over that Bay Bridge and in the DC area and in Petersburg for some reason, Petersburg, Virginia. The traffic in Petersburg, Virginia was bonkers. So it took me 9 hours to do an 8-hour trip, but the train was 11 and a half hours. But there are places in the world where they have like high speed trains, or at least like regular speed trains. So scouting multiple locations in one place is easier than you would think if most of your travel has been inside of the US. Flights can be a lot cheaper. Trains can be cheaper and faster. It can be an easier situation than we're used to. All right, another thing you may want to do, I don't regret this, but you may want to do this. Scouting neighborhoods that fit the life that you want. I don't know how to, so in Bogota, I want to get back to running, but I am specifically in a neighborhood where running is not going to work, where I'm going to have to go to another neighborhood to get my daily runs in or my weekly runs in. And so you may want to make sure that you're living closer to your hobbies is what I mean. Neighborhood closer to your hobbies. So maybe you need to get some hobbies before you leave. I guess that's how this really works out. If I was a better organized person, I would have gotten my hobby and then known how to get close to the hobby when I picked a place to rent. I don't regret this because on Sundays in Bogota, they close off a lot of the roads. So I can just run on the streets on Sundays, right? I only need 3 runs a week. Once a week, I can run where I am in my neighborhood and just there's going to be there's cars. I don't like running around car traffic. Once a week, I can run on my street in the little path. There's bike paths all over the city. So I can just run on the bike path. You're allowed, my strip has a bike path down the middle of the road, the middle of the street. That's not ideal. So one day a week, I can do that. One day a week, I can go to the park, get on the bus, go to the park to run. One park, probably a 40-minute bus ride one way, the Simón Bolívar, and then Parque Verde, 20-minute bus ride, 10-minute bus ride maybe. I think it only took me 30 minutes to walk there. So I could walk to the park, walk/run to the park in 30 minutes. Being closer to my hobbies, that's a thing that I would recommend if I were you. So you may need to get some hobbies first. Okay. And then what else is on my list? Oh, a thing I kind of regret. So when Black people talk about their time in Colombia, they all say the same thing. But the food. There's a problem with food in Colombia. It's bland. They don't season their food. All Black people have that same report. So maybe it would have been nice if I had learned how to cook before I got to Colombia. Because certain things I'm just not going to be able to get and enjoy. I'm going to have to make them. If I have certain things and they're delicious, I will have had to have made them. Me or maybe I can find a chef from another country. Maybe I will need a Haitian chef or something from a chef from a country who knows how to season her food. Even Bogota even makes me miss San Jose, Costa Rica. San Jose, Costa Rica is rice and beans down. Rice and beans and chicken, rice and beans and beef, rice and beans and eggs, rice and beans and whatever. But it's good. The rice and beans, it tastes delicious. The plantain, rice and beans and plantanos, anywhere you get it in San Jose, Costa Rica, you're going to enjoy it. You may get sick of the rice and beans, but you're going to enjoy the rice and beans. Bogota makes me miss rice and beans. Now, Google says your taste buds at high altitude, you can't taste certain flavors. But that doesn't explain to me why Colombian food is bland, because Bogota is high altitude, but Cartagena is not high altitude. And people have that complaint about Colombian food, not about Bogota food, because most people don't go to Bogota. It's not that kind of city. It's not a tourist city. So it would have been nice for me to have learned how to cook some things. That's the thing. I wish I knew how to cook. When I go home, my dad always makes me chicken and dumplings. I don't know how to make chicken and dumplings. I know how to reheat chicken and dumplings after he makes it. Right? Open up some soup, a little extra cream of chicken or cream of something soup to help reheat the chicken and dumplings so they don't dry out. I can do that. I don't know how to make chicken and dumplings. And I'm not going to get chicken and dumplings there. I can fry chicken, so I could like chicken and waffles. I've not had good chicken and waffles in Bogota. That's a thing I've learned to seek out. I've not had good chicken and waffles in Bogota. I had it at one place. Candace's place. Candace, I went to your place. I went to Crepes and Waffles. I went to the Artisano Crepes and Waffles. And they didn't have chicken and waffles on the menu, but they had a waffle with chicken. They do a different thing. It's Colombia. And I was like, well, I'm never going to order this here again. It's not worth it. It don't taste like nothing. This chicken don't taste like nothing. Okay. I would have to bring my own Lowry's. I'm not bringing Lowry's to a restaurant. So that would have been a thing. If I had learned how to cook some things, at least I would know that I would have some good things here. I'm also going to have to learn how to bake at high altitude, but that's different. I don't know. I mean, whatever. I don't know. Well, Adelia said you got to bring your own baking supplies. So maybe I won't learn how to bake at high altitude. I'll just buy what somebody else baked. Rashida loves this. There's a specific cake in San Miguel de Allende. And I don't think there's any baker in Bogota capable of something like that. So if I want that, I'm gonna have to learn how to make that, right? So learn how to cook. I know how to make, I know how to put a pork roast or pork chops in a crock pot with some rosemary and some cranberries or cranberry sauce, either whole cranberries or cranberry sauce. I know how to do maybe 5 things that I'm like, this is going to come out good. The other stuff normally I would buy, but I'm not in a city where I can just go and buy it and know it's going to be good. So I'm going to have to either cook some stuff or find some chefs, find a cook, personal chef, a food prepper, somebody. I did take some Old Bay from my parents' house. So at least I have Old Bay next time. I made salmon the week before I left, I made some salmon. And I was like, I ain't got no Old Bay. But now I do. I think I'm going to try the air fryer. I don't quite believe y'all about how handy an air fryer is, because you can just put the food in the oven. I don't understand the air fryer hype, because you have an oven. I don't get the air fryer hype, but I may try it because I don't know. The air fryer will? You have an oven. Tell me the difference. Tell me the difference between an air fryer and an oven. Chicken and dumplings in a crock pot is easy. But Sean, how do you make? So first of all, I'm not making dumplings. I'm not rolling out dough. I think everybody knows that. It's not a thing that I'm going to learn how to do. But I don't understand dumplings in a crock pot. Okay, so dumplings in a crock pot and chicken. Oh, maybe, okay, I take it back. I may learn how to do that. Rolling out the dough? When I go home, I'll ask for chicken and dumplings, and I ask for apple dumplings because my dad's a good baker. He don't mind rolling out dough. I don't get it. It just seems it's hard. He'll roll out some dough. He won't make apple dumplings because he doesn't want to peel the apples. And I also don't want to peel the apples. So often, and there's a sale. We have Amish people in Dover. So you can go buy apple dumplings. You can buy good stuff. So, but he don't mind rolling out dough. I don't. That's too much. You're asking for too much. He'll roll out some dough in a minute. Chicken and dumplings, apple dumplings are his 2 specialties. He used to also make really good coleslaw. You often don't get coleslaw with flavor. I think he used to make his own pickles. And so there was always like, what is that, dill and something? His coleslaw, he used to make really good coleslaw too. He had this thing, the shredder, he had a thing. You put the cabbage in and you shred the cabbage and whatever. He has his specialties. His specialty is not spaghetti. He thinks spaghetti is not spaghetti. Not spaghetti. He has his specialties. But I've never seen anybody, I've never sat and watched anybody make a dumpling. But I know rolling out dough is not my ministry. It's not about the touching of the dough. It's about the effort that it takes. It's just too many steps. It's steps on steps on steps. Once you make the dough, you still have to make the chicken and dumplings, right? It's like how we don't make our own pasta. Most people do not make their own pasta to make spaghetti. You make a spaghetti, you make a lasagna. You don't start by rolling out and making the actual pasta. But with chicken and dumplings, you start by making the dumpling and then you still got to make the meal. I won't be doing that. Okay? I've opted out. I've lived my life mostly where you could find those things. Somebody has already made them and you can buy them. But I decided to move to a city where you can't. So either I'm going to be deprived. Either I'm deprived or somebody is going to have to learn. Somebody who cooks for me is going to have to learn how to make that. Because also my dad won't get on. He won't come to Bogota, I don't think. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They're at a funeral. I think my parents are at a funeral today. So I'm not going to get an answer. It's steps, right? Right? It's like making the pasta and then making the lasagna. That is chicken and dumplings. You got to make the dumpling and then you got to make the chicken and dumplings. I watch those. I don't watch them, but I know there exists on the internet women who want to go back to the old days, the simpler times. They weren't simpler, girl. Okay. That's why people only live to about 55. They were not simpler. They were hard times. My mom be watching the Waltons. They were hard times. But there are women on the internet who talk about they want to go back to the past where they made all their food from scratch. No. Somebody else make it. If I can understand people enjoying cooking. There are things that I like to do from scratch. What is the thing that I like to do that other people would just be like, no, speed up the process. Let me do the easier way. I understand that, but I just don't have that drive to make food from scratch. Although I do want my food to taste good, and I would like it to taste like it was made from scratch, but I would like somebody else to do the scratching. Can I just assemble? I just want to be able, I don't really want to assemble, but bring me in at the assembly point. He be in there rolling dough. This is my dad. Rolling dough, more flour. I don't think that's my life. I don't feel like I should have to do that to have good food. He'll roll some dough in a minute. The only reason he doesn't make me apple dumplings when I go is because I won't peel the apples. I believe there is some sort of apparatus nowadays that will peel apples for you. Maybe I need to get him that for his next birthday. Maybe next year for his birthday. Rolling dough? I really don't think that is what I was called to do. Now, I do think that there are people who can roll. I do think that there's a way to store. Can't you freeze dough? Maybe I could hire somebody to come roll my dough and then freeze it. Let me see. Maybe I need to try spoon dumplings. Let me see. Yeah, that is his specialty. People used to clamor all over themselves for his apple dumplings. Yeah, apple dumplings, coleslaw. He gave up on coleslaw years. I guess one day the coleslaw maker broke and he was like, well, that's the end of that. The coleslaw thing, the cabbage shredder. One day, I guess it broke and that was the end of the coleslaw. I don't think he's made coleslaw. I don't know, 20, 25 years. Yeah, they moved into the house they're in now more than 20 years ago. So that was that move. If the coleslaw shredder got broken, he gave that up willingly. I admire people who have a willingness to do that kind of work, that kind of labor. I admire that about people, except for those women on the internet, because they don't know what they're saying. Those were not simpler times, right? Your grandmother was married to an asshole, right? But she had no choice but to get up every day, make that asshole's food, darn his socks, clean his toilet. She had no choice. That was not simplicity, right? She had to have 8 kids to hopefully have 2 kids survive to work the fields. Right? She had to keep having babies because hopefully 1 or 2 would survive and help him work the fields. It's easy to forget. But, they be out here making stuff from scratch. I did watch that lady Naira make them cornflakes from scratch. And I was like, oh, that's not that hard. But you know what I haven't done? Made some cornflakes from scratch. I was like, oh, I guess not. It's only a couple of ingredients and then you bake it and you break it up. Okay. Noted. Good and well. I'm not making cornflakes from scratch. I do. I guess what I see is other people sharing their stuff. I don't watch them, but I do see other people sharing them out in the world. I'll be like, oh, that's all you do to make cornflakes. And then I open my box of whatever I bought that somebody else made. I feel like if I had an idea that the food that I cooked, what is my real beef with cooking? The time. If I had a real feeling that it was worth the time, I'd be more interested. But it's 2025. I'm not rolling out dough. It's not worth the time. I don't think it's worth the time to roll out the dough, to make the chicken stock to begin with. Make the chicken stock, roll out the dough. And now you still have to cook the chicken and dumplings. You do all that prep work and all you have are ingredients. All that prep work for ingredients? No, you can just buy it. I think the solution is to have my dad teach the person who's going to cook for me. I think that's the solution. Have my dad teach the person who's going to cook. That person is not me. It's not me. Anything you make that gives you the homemade meal feeling. Oh, like I said, that pork roast and a thing. I can fry chicken. It's homemade meal. When I worked the night shift job, and I often had 3 days off in a row when I worked in the pharmacy. And I made maybe like 4 or 5 times ever. I made a Parmesan crusted chicken. Delicious. But it required you to it was with apples and leeks, Parmesan crusted chicken with apples and leeks, right? I'm sure if you Google the recipe, the same recipe that I used is the first one that'll pop up. It was fantastic, but it was so inconsistent. If I made it let's say I made it 5 times, twice it was really good. Twice it was okay. And once it was awful, right? No consistency. A lot of time, a lot of prep work for that amount of consistency. I don't think so. Adelia orders cooked meat by the kilo. I do know that ordering a full meal every day from the restaurant is not a way to live. I now know that. Pardon me. For various reasons. Number one, for the price, for the expense of it. But number two, for the unhealthfulness, because I'm going to pick the least healthy option. If I'm ordering from a restaurant and they're delivering the food, I'm going to choose the least healthiest option. I want to live a long time, so I got to eat healthier stuff. And the price and the fat. Yeah. So I got to figure something out. Colombia is going to be a challenge. Somebody's going to have to start cooking for me. Have my dad make some YouTube videos. My dad is contrarian. He is a rebel. The personality, he's a rebel. He won't do what you want him to do. I don't care what it is. I don't care even if it's something he wanted to do. If he wanted to do it and then you're like, oh, good, he's not going to do it. He's a Leo. Roll the dough. Life. So if you're moving to a place, try the food out. You may need to make a separate plan for the food. There have been places where ordering the food is amazing. In a few different cities and towns, a few different towns in Mexico. It don't matter. Every place I open up on this Rappi app is bomb. It's going to be amazing. In Bogota, it's been very search, seek, find. I still haven't found good pho. I tried to make pho one time, but I didn't follow directions. It ended up being a soup, but it wasn't pho. I think I got the wrong cut of meat and I cooked the meat too long. 2 things I did wrong. So food is a thing I want to enjoy in my life. That's why, okay, so I'm not accusing you of anything. This is not about you, okay? What I'm saying is Stephanie, me, I'm not going to do anything that would mess up my appetite for good food, which is why I'm absolutely 1,000,000% not interested in the GLP-1s, Wegovy and whatever, because you know what they do? They mess with your appetite for the food. And what a life. What? I don't want for the rest of my life to have no appetite. Right? I can't imagine having no appetite. I listened to this man. So, I listened to the Diary of a CEO podcast. I'm not 100% sure that I like the podcast. I'm not telling you to go listen to the Diary of a CEO podcast. Okay. But it's a thing that I listen to on occasion. And he had a guest not too long ago who was on What's the other one called? Not Wegovy, but the other one. You know what I'm talking about, them GLP ones. GLP-1. I can't think of what it's called. You know, the one that everybody, the main one. The main one. And that's what he said. He just doesn't enjoy food anymore. And I was like, man, he's too young for that. Right? Now, he was probably in his 40s. Now, you know, you wait. Ozempic, thank you. You wait. If he had health problems, he had to do what he had to do. But no enjoyment of food for the next 50 years? So I do want to enjoy food. I do enjoy food. I had a roommate years ago who didn't enjoy eating. And it was so strange to me. I've never seen that. I've heard Jada Pinkett and their son, the son. I've heard them mentioning that they don't enjoy food. They don't enjoy eating. And I'm like, that's one of our few pleasures. We get good food. We get beautiful sunsets. And so I want to keep that. I do want to keep that. I'm not letting Bogota strip me of my enjoyment of food. But it's been very, very, I've had to search around. I've had to search around for a handful of restaurants that I know if I order from this place, I'll get a good meal. I ordered a Reuben weeks ago or months ago now. It was awful. And it's pastrami and sauerkraut. Number one, they didn't have sauerkraut. They called it a Reuben. There's no sauerkraut. Like, there's only a couple of ingredients to this thing. The hospital I used to work at, a Christiana hospital, that cafeteria, that Reuben was bomb. When we would come in at night and they'd be like, Reuben's on the menu. I'm going to lunch exactly on time. I'm staying at lunch the whole time. They toasted the bread with butter first. So even the butter was really good. They used good butter in the cafeteria. Good bread, good butter, good pastrami. Those Reubens were pastrami Reubens. Good sauerkraut, right? They did Reubens, they did bread pudding. They did a handful of things. When we walked in and somebody would be like, here's what's on the menu tonight. We were like, this is a good day. I wouldn't want to no longer have that. Right? I wouldn't want to no longer look forward to food and eating. Because it's a thing. And if I have a good thing to eat that day, my life is breezy. Years ago, when I had the miscarriage and then I was out of work, I was out on FMLA for, 2 weeks. It wasn't all that long. I was on FMLA and I went back to work. Life was not good, right? And then one day I came home and my mom was like, I said, I had the best day today. I still remember that. I remember what I was wearing. I was wearing this blazer, maybe mint colored blazer and a black skirt. I was like, I had the best day today. And she was like, you did? I said, yeah, you know what? I had leftover. I think I had turkey and stuffing left over and something else. This might have been Thanksgiving because I miscarried in June. Right? So I had my first good day was after Thanksgiving when I came home and I had my good leftovers at lunch. I had turkey and stuffing for lunch. It might not have been that. It might have been earlier. I just happened to have some stuffing. Might have been pork chops and stuffing that I made myself. And she was like, oh, that's all it took. That's all it took to have a good day. And I wouldn't want to lose that. That was not I was a sidebar, but it wasn't about you and your choices. Live your life, right? Live your life. If Ozempic is going to give you more joy than it takes from you, it's a win every time. Okay, that's not an Ozempic conversation. It was a conversation about appetite and how much I really enjoy. I like having a good appetite. I feel for people who don't have it. I remember that time Jada Pinkett and her son were talking about how they didn't enjoy eating food. And I was like, that's terrible, right? all the money in the world, everything at your fingertips, but you don't like eating food. I felt so bad for them. I felt so bad for them. Right? I mean, at that time, I had no money, no, no opportunities, but I enjoyed eating food, and I felt like I was winning. That's all. That's all. No, that's not true, Anthony. It actually, the brain, it changes your enjoyment and appetite of food. It's not a myth. It's not a myth. It's like how it works. That's how it works. There are people who are more affected and people who are less affected, but it changes your brain. That is the way it works. It changes your brain's enjoyment of food. That's what GLP-1s do. And if you have to take them forever to keep the weight off, that is something you've lost for life. That's how they work. Pardon me. My dad is not on, well, let me say, never mind. Well, my dad is on a diabetes medication that he says is doing the same thing for him. Appetite gone, right? Now that I've violated his HIPAA, HIPAA violation, maybe I need to go back and take that out at the 131 mark. No, it's about the brain. It's not about being full. No, that's not how it works. It works by changing your brain's chemistry. It's a brain chemistry changer. It's not a fullness changer. It's not a satiety thing. It's how they work. As a former medical professional, that's how they work. They change your brain's pleasure receptors. I don't know if that means you also lose enjoyment of other things in life. I doubt it, because people wouldn't like it. If you never enjoyed anything ever again, people wouldn't keep taking it. But you do what you got to do. I'm not your doctor. Live your life. I'm healthy. I'm fat and I'm healthy, right? So you got to live your life, right? It's better to keep living and not enjoy food than to be DED, dead too soon. I got longevity on my side. You do your thing. I'm not a doctor. I'm a house sitter. You know that. Live your life. That's what the man said in the interview, right? I was going to die. Both his father, I think all the men in his family, his father, grandfather, and a brother, I think, dead before 55, right? All obese and dead before midlife really kicks in. He'll take Ozempic forever for that, right? To still be alive. So do what you do. I'm not your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm a house sitter. You know that. I'm just talking about food, Colombia, and appetites. That's all I'm talking about. Appetites. And I like being a person with an appetite. I don't think that that's how these medications work, but there is a time in my life when I had no appetite for like living, right? So we've closed the door on these medications conversation. But there was a time when I had no appetite for life, right? I thought that I had to pause everything and maybe at 65, it'll come back. I'm so glad that I've regained it, that I found it. Because that's the point. That's the point. I like being a person with, all I can think of is an appetite for things, for life, for future, right? I'm grateful for that. Because I'm telling you, when I remember that conversation, when that's what they said, that they don't enjoy food. And I was like, what? That's horrible. Horrible. How horrible. That's the moral of the story. An appetite for things that you're interested in. For what's the synonym of appetite? Hunger, relish, taste for, desire. Having a desire for something. I think that's the point. You see people with no desire. You'd be like, well, you don't want nothing out of life? You don't want anything for yourself? A craving? You don't want anything? We get tricked into thinking that we're here to be of service to other people, and we forget about being of service to yourself. I understand the idea of prioritizing your inner self and not your body, but sometimes you do want the pleasures of the body. Like, that's point of having a body. Why give us taste buds if we weren't supposed to enjoy physical pleasures? Why would an orgasm exist if we weren't supposed to experience it? The pleasures of the body. So we're more than the body, right? We're a being in a body. We're a spirit and a soul and a whatever other parts make us up in a body. But I don't think that means we are supposed to just neglect the body. And there are people who live as though this shell people call it a shell, and they call it a meat suit, and they call it a this and a that. Like, it's just here to carry the spirit around, just here to carry our spirit around. But it's also to experience. We have senses for a reason. The senses are here to experience life, to experience the pleasures of those senses. Why have sunsets be so colorful and beautiful if we weren't supposed to sit and see them and watch them and enjoy them? The sun could just go down. In plenty of places, there are places where, because of the cloud situation and the earth, the air, whatever, when the sun goes down, it just goes down. There's no colors. The clouds don't light up, right? So that could be the whole world. The whole world could just be like, first the sun is up and then the sun is down. It ain't no show. But the fact that sometimes the colors create such a show means that we're supposed to watch it. Your body is just sure, it is a vessel to carry your spirit around, but it has senses. And I think it's important to enjoy the sensory enjoyment. That's a part of life. So that's all I have to say on that. That's all I have to say on that canvas. Your life is we have these gifts. They're gifts because we don't have to have them. If we have them, I think we should enjoy them. It's all to enjoy, all to experience, all to take advantage of, I think. So I'm grateful to be a person with a craving, hunger for the physical pleasures. And I feel for people who have been convinced that those physical pleasures are unnecessary, unimportant, wrong, should be sacrificed. There are people who believe that the physical pleasures of life should be sacrificed at all cost, and that somehow makes you a higher being, a better person. I don't think so. I don't think so. Enjoy them. Live your life and enjoy that stuff. Okay. I think I'm out of things to talk about. Let me look at my list. Before Bogota, background check, my USA ship, spend a couple months in East Africa, scout Medellin, make sure I'm in a running neighborhood, learn to cook. Okay, so those are things that if I were you, except for the learn to cook part, if I were you, I would consider those things when you're doing your own scouting slash traveling slash moving abroad. Yeah, those are things that I would consider. If you're gonna need a background check, go ahead and get it started today. Like this week, the only thing you may need to do this week is Google, do I need a background check to get residency in blank? Right? Next week, how do I get a background check in my state? Third point, schedule the background check or schedule the whatever it is. If it's fingerprints, schedule the fingerprints. Yes, I've been to PriceSmart. So PriceSmart, there is some affiliation between PriceSmart and Costco. Um, it was smaller. I went to the PriceSmart in Bogota. I went to one of the PriceSmarts in Bogota. Smaller than a Costco. Half food, half other items. They had less bedding. So Costco has a reputation of having good bedding. So I bought my membership to PriceSmart before I'd ever been there because I was convinced that that's where I was going to get the good bedding in Costa Rica. I mean, in Bogota, and I was wrong. I was wrong. So instead, I'm gonna use my membership to buy big old bottles of maple syrup and, and maybe toilet paper, maybe the good toilet paper. So I've been. It's not close to me. Oh, I don't know. I need to check out the bus route. I took an Uber there and back. Probably didn't even cost me. Well, I was staying in a different place then, but I took an Uber there and back, maybe $15. So as long as I feel like I'm going to save $15 worth or get something that is worth more than $15 to me, it'll be worth it to go back. So like maple syrup, I think maple syrup is a thing that I'll have to get there because I've not found it. I don't have it. So I think the Exito grocery store is the biggest store, the biggest grocery stores, like physically biggest, where they have the most variety is Exito in Bogota. And I just am not within walking distance to an Exito. And I haven't seen real maple syrup in my Carulla or Jumbo, which is a smaller grocery store. So it may be worthwhile for me to get on the bus or air or whatever and go to the Price Mart once in a while. Yeah, the largest. Because if I'm going to have to get on transportation to go somewhere, it's going to be either the Exito or the Price Mart. And the Price Mart, I know I can get stuff and get enough to stock up and whatever. Colombia is a refilling country. So a lot of things that you're used to buying, you buy the refills of. So like laundry detergent, you buy the plastic laundry detergent thing and you pour it into the bottle. Even the 6-liter waters, at the OXXO near where I was staying before, OXXO, there was an OXXO right across the street. You bought a sack of water and you pour it into your other bottle. So that's a thing. So so it's a place where I like will be refilling bottles of things. I don't know. That's a thing. That's a thing there. It's a refill place. You buy the refill, not necessarily the bottle. So like when I needed water, I had to make sure the first time I went to an OXXO that had water, had a bottle of water. And the next time I could just buy the bag. Refilling that bottle of water from a bag is a skill set that I have yet to acquire. It took me, I don't know, it took me forever to pour 6 liters of water from a bag to a bottle without getting it all over the place. So I hope one day, well, actually, I may not need to buy water all that often because I have the filter. So one day maybe I'll acquire that skill. I have vanilla extract that I've been gifted. I have not bought vanilla in. No, I've definitely bought vanilla in Colombia. don't recall. I had to have because I got there in January. Yeah, I didn't have a funnel. It was just like, first of all, lifting 6 liters in a plastic bag. Cutting the bag was even hard. Then lifting it, it was awful. It was not awful, but it was a challenge. It took me quite a while. um, I don't recall now the situation because I've been gifted vanilla over and over. I just had a birthday, so I got gifted good copious amounts of vanilla, but I don't remember. I think in Bogota, I think the store I went to only had imitation vanilla. I remember leaving a place because they only had imitation vanilla. But I feel like I got to the Exito and bought the real vanilla. I feel like I had vanilla in Colombia with no problem. I don't recall. I don't recall. I had to do it in the sink. I knew it was gonna be a mess. I had to do it in the sink. No, I'm not messing with Olga's. Me and Olga, we on the same page. Me and Olga on the same page. No, no, no. Now I had to do it in the sink. I knew, like, as soon as I got ready to cut the top off, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is not gonna be easy. Let me put the bottle in the sink. Let's do this. I got a good amount of it in there. C.L. Burt. So food, there's pleasure associated with food because we need food to live. You're saying the reason the pleasure factor exists is to keep us eating so that we live. Maybe it would make sense. So that would be why there's pleasure with sex, because humans need sex to replicate, replicate, procreate. So there's some pleasure associated with it to keep us doing it. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm still in the process of getting things done. I'll keep you posted. It's all I'm doing all of this, and it's only a 2-year digital nomad visa for Colombia. I wish Colombia had something like some other countries. I wish they're freelance. They have some sort of thing, a migrant something, but it's not the traditional freelancer visa. Yeah, Colombia is not the easiest place to move to. It's not Mexico or Costa Rica, right? It's nice to move to a place where they're like, just show us how much you have in your bank account and you can come. That makes it easier. Colombia is like, now send us a letter explaining what you do for work and give us this and give us that. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. All right. Anything else? $148. I think that's it for the day. I think that's it. I'm going to get ready for the event that's this afternoon. Like, get my directions, figure out how to get there. I have a rental car. Figure out how to get there. I guess I could work for a couple hours. A gusto for life. I guess I could work for a couple of hours. Do a little of this and a little of that. I'm about to show up to the event empty-handed, but I think everybody knows to expect that from me. I don't have a problem. I got no qualms showing up empty-handed. Cheese. So I think I'm about to show up with nothing in my hands And that's that. I do need to, I guess, check in. Not, yeah, I need to check in for my flight because I need to pay for my extra baggage. So American Airlines wouldn't let me add baggage before the flight. I didn't pay for, because it's a round trip, I didn't pay for my extra baggage early. So once I checked in for the first flight, I could no longer add baggage for the second flight, the return trip, until I checked in. You know, am I making this clear? I flew from Bogota to Philly, and then I'm flying from Charlotte back to Bogota. And so after the Philly flight, I went in to go add in my extra baggage, and they're like, no, you can't do it until you check in. So I guess I'll check in and pay for my extra baggage. I bought a baggage scale for the first time at TJ Maxx. So I have my baggage scale. One of the things was 50 and one was, I have 4 checked bags. The first 2 were smaller, 30 or 40 pounds. My 2 green duffel bags, one was a little over and one was a little under. So I want to shift a couple of things out of there and reweigh them. And then get. Oh, and I said I was going to see what time my flight is. I really don't know what time my flight is. I know it's very early. Oh, why did I look? My flight departs at 5 a.m. and I have to return my rental car. I need to figure that out. Maybe I'll return my car today after no, because I can't, after the thing, I'll be tired. Yeah, so I got to return my rental car and get all of this baggage to the terminal. Hopefully they'll have I need to figure that out. I need to figure out tomorrow. I wish I could drop off these heavy bags today and not have to deal with them tomorrow. Because if the rental car place, they usually have a shuttle. I just need to confirm the rental car place has a shuttle and not like you walk from the rental car return place to the airport. I can't walk all these bags. So I guess I need to figure that out. 5 a.m., leaving at 5 a.m. It had to be done because YouTube Success Society, I have a membership for Black women who have a business and are using YouTube to market their business. And we have coaching tomorrow. So I need to be back home at my desk at 2 p.m. So it had to be done. There were only very early and very late flights. So even if I was leaving on Monday, it would still be very early or very late. American Airlines to Bogota from Charlotte, it was either leave early or leave late. Leaving late there's no benefit to it, right? So leaving here at 2 a.m. to return my car, check my bags, I think I'm a good 30 minutes from the airport. Let's do this together. Let's do some of this research together. Avis, Charlotte Airport. And then I couldn't rent from, I'm an Alamo rental girly, but I couldn't rent from Alamo because there's no Alamo in Delaware. Either there's no Alamo or there's no Alamo in Delaware that would let me do a one-way rental down here. So right now that's 15 minutes. Okay, so 15 minutes to the airport. So that gives me another 15 minutes that I don't have to be there. And then it looks like the Avis is in the air. Does that mean I'm not going to be able to get a shuttle to the check-in? Let me look at some pictures. I really don't want to have to take my 4 bags myself. I want a shuttle van to drop me off. Let's see what it looks like. It's in the airport. So it's kind of like in the parking garage. The airport, the car rental thing is in the parking garage. Ugh, please let there be a whole bunch of carts. Please let the carts be there. Michelle says, drop the bags first and then return the rental. So pull up to the terminal and leave the car and then go in, check in, and then, okay. I'll do whatever I do. I'll have plenty of time because I can't play that game anymore. Get to the airport late, last minute. I can't play that game anymore. Right? It's a 5:15 flight. I'm going to have everything finished, like be fully checked in by 3:15. Right? Which is why I'm talking about leaving at 2 to get there by 2:15, to spend an hour returning, whatever. I don't do that anymore. Years ago, my friend from high school and college, we went to Spelman. She stayed at Spelman. And then she's lived in Atlanta after that. She got married and stayed in Atlanta. I've flown in and out of Atlanta airport. I've run through that airport more times than you believe. Every time we would be late, it was her problem. I'd be like, I need to be at airport at this time. At that time, she'd be like looking for her keys, right? Every time. So I don't play that. I will sit at an airport for hours before I'll get there at the last minute. I feel like there's some recent time that I did plan to get there last minute for some reason, and it worked out. But listen, I'll go to in that Costa Rica airport. I'll be like, I'll be sitting at the California Pizza Kitchen because there was the lounge in Costa Rica airport. I didn't care for it. So then, yeah, I will be sitting at the California Pizza Kitchen for an hour and a half waiting for this flight. I don't mind that. I don't think I can drop the car off tonight because I don't expect to be back here till about 11 p.m. I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing it. I would rather do it early in the morning than late at night. I expect to only be able to sleep I'll be in the bed from 11 to about 1:30. I'm gonna get 2-3 hours of sleep. I'd rather do this in the morning than at night, I think. Yeah, so I think pull up to the airport, drag my bags in right then and there. There should be Charlotte Airport. I don't have any faith that things are going to be smooth. Charlotte Airport, hopefully there's a cart right there. I think I'm going to do what Michelle said. Hopefully there's a big cart right there. Put my stuff on the cart right then and there. If there's curbside check-in, American Airlines, because this is an American hub, they might do curbside check-in. I don't know if they do. Oh, I have to pay for the luggage. So I don't think I can do curbside. Oh, wait, but I can pay for it now. Let me see if I can pay for it now. I'm going to check in. I normally don't check in ahead of time, but I'm going to try to check in and pay for my luggage. Add bags. Add bags at airport. We're unable to add bags online for your international flight. Now, earlier you said you couldn't add bags until I check in. So I'm going to have to do it at the counter. Okay. So I'm going to pull up to the terminal. If there's a cart right there, I'll leave the car at the front of the thing, run in, check, pay for my bags. Because I'm business class, there won't be a line. No matter what time my flight is and what time I get there won't be a line. Do that. Then I'll return the car just in case there's no carts there. Now, if I pull up to the terminal and there's no carts there, then I might as well just take them to Rashida says short-term parking. I got to find the carts. Where? I don't trust that there'll be carts inside. I trust that there'll be carts outside. If I park at short-term parking, there's not going to be any carts there. There's not going to be any carts there. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you're talking about the car rental counter. I don't need the car rental counter to be open to return the car. I just need carts. I just need to go to a place where there are carts at 3:00 in the morning. If I go to that car, if I pull in the car rental place and there's no carts there, I can't take the car back out. But if I pull up to the front and there are carts there, yeah, I'm gonna have to pay for the cart. They will be. Let's Google that. Are there luggage carts at Avis Charlotte Airport? Maybe somebody's answered this question for me. It's a thing that what's it called? Reddit? Reddit always has answers. Luggage carts at airport car rental are Charlotte. Okay, let's open that. I will return my car tomorrow at Charlotte. Need to carry my luggage to the airport, flying with the wife and baby, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Rental car had the hourly lot, and that has a ton of luggage carts in the parking deck. You also have access to rentals at baggage claim. Okay, that's coming in. Okay. Lots of answers. So that one was a year ago. And they said there were plenty. Ton of luggage carts in the parking deck. Okay. When I did this me and my mom returned a car somewhere. And I had to leave the rental car and go get I feel like that was Johannesburg, right? Return the parking thing in the parking garage, return the car rental, and I had to walk forever to go get a cart and bring it. But there were plenty. That was Johannesburg. I feel like this is going to be that same. Okay, so I'll return the car and get a cart at the Avis. Somebody asked that very specific question, and the answer was very specific. So return the car, however far I have to walk to get a cart, bring the cart back, take the cart. I can't take the car back tonight. Absolutely not. I'm going to bed. Okay. Absolutely not. I cannot take the car back tonight. Because I don't expect to be back here. The thing is ending around 10. I won't be back here till around 11. Then if I take the car back tonight, I'm not getting any sleep. If I take the car back in the morning, I'll get 2 or 3 hours of sleep. 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep. Because no matter what, I'm still going to leave the same time tomorrow. If I take the car back tonight, I'm still leaving here at 2:30 in the morning. And that just means everything I did the night before was wasted time. I'm not taking that car back tonight. It's just returning a rental car is a 10-second process. It's just a matter of getting the stuff out of the car into a cart and getting that cart into the check-in. Yeah, returning a rental car is no thing. I don't even know if Avis is open. I don't know if they're 24 hours. It don't matter. If they don't have a key deposit, they'll have something. Leave the keys in the car. I'll sleep. I don't usually sleep on planes. I'm not good at sleeping on planes, but I will tomorrow. I know I will. Coming here, my flight boarded at 5:30 and left at 6 coming from Bogota. And I did on both legs, I got at least a nap. One of the flights, I slept for a good 2 hours on the first flight. And then maybe 20, 30 minutes on the second flight. The same movie was playing on the second flight. So And then once I do coaching, my day is over. Once I get in and do my coaching in the YouTube Success Society, my day is done. So I can go to bed early. Yeah, so the internet says the check-in, American Airlines says I need to pay for baggage tomorrow, so I can't do curbside. I have to take the bags in. Yeah, okay, I get it, Michelle. Yeah, if the app would let you pay for baggage. I just didn't pay for it ahead of time because I wasn't sure how many. I know if I think I need 2 check bags and I pay for 2 check bags, 2 additional, it would have been fine. But if I paid for 1 check bag and then I needed 2 check bags, I didn't know. So I was like, I'll just do it later. And then I didn't realize that you couldn't do that once you had already flown part of the flight, you couldn't do it online. I didn't know that. I've never had to pay for additional bags. This is my first time ever. No, I've definitely accidentally. I don't know. I feel like it's my first time, but I definitely have had to pay for something somewhere. No, it's Christian. This time, Avis is in the parking lot. It's in the airport parking lot. So it's not a matter of that. It's just making sure that there are carts. All I need is a cart to get my stuff to the terminal. It's inside of the thing. I think it's probably going to look exactly like the Johannesburg airport based on the pictures that I see on Google Maps. It's going to be exactly like Johannesburg. You drive into the parking garage, drop off your car, go and get you some carts from inside the garage, and walk from the garage to the terminal. I can do that. I know it's based on the pictures of the Avis in the garage. It's going to look exactly like that. So Avis is inside of the garage. And so there should be carts. If not at the Avis place, I'm gonna have to walk somewhere in the garage to get the carts. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut it close. I don't cut it close in the airports. It's not a thing that I do. I'll sit and sit and sit and sit and sit before I cut it close. You don't have to worry about that. I'm checking 4 bags. I have 2 included, and I have to check the other 2. Yeah, so I already checked the website. Kaomi says there's something about number of bags. I checked the website, and I'm allowed to check. I'm 2 included, and I'm allowed to add 3 more for a significant fee. I think 3 or 4 was the max. It was more than I needed. I know I needed 2 more, and I'm allowed to add. I think you can have either 4 total or 5 total for Colombia. They had a different number for, how did they divide it up? They had North America and Central America. They had a different number and then they had South America. And then they had a couple of countries that had a different number. So Colombia was different from the rest of South America. They do it like that, right? Colombia has a different number of bag allowance than other countries. I think Colombia had a better price. I think that's what it was. Colombia's price was lower than the other parts of South America. So I'm glad about that. Yeah, the price was lower for the additional bags. I already looked that up. I feel good about that. I feel good. I already looked it up. Don't worry. Because I'm not leaving my stuff. I went through all of that. I'm not leaving my stuff. I looked it up already. So I feel fine about the number of bags, and the price is what it is. I can't set the price. I just want to make sure. Listen, all I want to make sure is that I have a cart, that when I pull up, there is a cart for me to take my stuff to the terminal. Because with no cart, many problem. With cart, few problem. All right, I hear the housekeeper next door, but I don't need her. I already have Do Not Disturb on. I don't need her. All right, friends. Okay, thanks. Latest Rita says thank you. Friends, please hit the like button if you don't mind before we end things. And if you have a friend, Black woman, friend, person you know, relative, family member, who you think would be interested in this Move Abroad conversation, go ahead and share the link. Hit the share button and share it. If you have a group chat, you have a gang of friends who might be interested, hit the link. Okay, I've dropped the link already for you to join us in the Exodus ASAP membership. Africa Month. It's Africa Month. We already had a section on Namibia. We already had a session on Namibia from a Black woman who moved to Namibia with her husband and 2 children. And they have a home there now, and they have a business there now. We have some other places coming, some other things coming. All right. ExodusASAP.com is how you join the Exodus ASAP membership. If you are interested in getting your Peace Out protocol together, right? If you're a Black woman and you're interested in working on the parts of your move abroad, getting coaching, getting support, community, resources, join us at ExodusASAP.com. Exodus Summit 2025, coming soon. Tickets will be coming soon. We'll be announcing soon when and where to get your tickets. So make sure that you're getting the Exodus Summit newsletter. Make sure you're getting our email. The easiest way is to take our quiz. Which country should I move to? If you take our Which Country Should I Move to quiz, you'll start receiving emails from us. Not too often, because, I'm not going to email you. I'm not writing a whole bunch of emails, okay? So you don't have to worry about it being too often, but enough to keep you informed. I'm looking for the quiz link. The quiz link is exodussummit.com/quiz. If you take our quiz, number 1, you'll know which country you should move to. And number 2, you'll start receiving our emails. Copy, paste, quiz. Okay. All right, links are in the description of this video already because I was super organized and prepared this morning. So the links are already here. If you're watching the replay, hello friends in the future, links are in the description. Go down to the description of the video and they're there, okay? All right, thank you very much for the well wishes, for the travel safety wishes. Thank you kindly. All right, can't wait to be back home. Thank you kindly. All right, next time we see each other here, I'll be in my house with my stuff that I brought from here, from the US. All of my stuff, okay? Are you talking to me? Let's see. Exodus Summit, October 10 through 13, 2025. Block off that whole weekend, starting Friday evening for the Eastern time in the US. Okay. I don't understand this comment because are we that excited to see men? There's men everywhere you go. I don't know if you know this, KD Free. There's men everywhere. They're all over the world. There are men anywhere you go. You don't have to be excited when you see them. They're the same. Everywhere you go, they're there and they're always there. And like, it's not an exciting thing. I've seen them. Only thing a man can do for me is give me a yacht. And I don't think that a male housekeeper is going to have a yacht under his belt. So I don't need it. I don't know if that's exciting for you. I hope for Black women. I hope for Black women that you can put men in their place. There is a place for men in our lives, but it's not the place. The place of honor belongs to you. The place of honor in your life belongs to you, not to a man who might be out the door, maybe, perhaps. Remember, the only thing a man can do for me is give me a yacht. Right? I don't think at 51 years old, I don't think a Black woman should be that excited about men. There are women in this community who have husbands who are delightful, and we really like them. We're glad to see them. And those women are not like men are the most amazing thing in the world, right? They're like, he's my partner in life, and it's great. But I'm a person, a whole person, and I have my own thing. Ain't no pedestal. If there is a pedestal, I'm on the pedestal. So I've passed the point in life. I don't know that I ever had this, but a lot of women have at some point. I've passed the point in life where I see men as anything incredibly amazing. They're just men. They're everywhere, right? We're not going to get excited about men because they're everywhere, right? I'm in Charlotte. Can you see in my hotel room out the view, right? There's buildings everywhere. So why should I get excited about a building? It might be a building. Well, there's a lot of buildings. Why am I excited? Because there might be a building when there's buildings everywhere. They're everywhere. There's men everywhere. Right? Black women financially. Again, I'm not talking about you and your husband. Okay? You and your husband are doing great. I'm so happy for you. Right? The women in this community have chosen pretty well. The women in this community who are still married have chosen to marry pretty well. Okay? I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about, statistically speaking, Black women who are married are financially worse off than Black women who are single. So you're not going to see me talking about maybe you'll meet a man. Because it's probably not going to be all that great to begin with. I'm not talking about you and your husband. I like him. We met him. He's great. I hope we see him again at the meetup in Portugal. Right? I'm just talking about statistically. Statistically, when we look at the statistics, a married Black woman is worse off. Oh, I misinterpreted the entire conversation. Statistically speaking, a married Black woman is financially worse off than a single Black woman. We're the only group of people in the United States for whom that's true. The only group of women in the United States for whom that's true. I totally misinterpreted. My housekeeper might be a man, he or she. Okay, so he or she, I hear the housekeeper, but normally when the first night, I turn on Do Not Disturb because I like to be in the room. I want to be there. I like to leave when the housekeeper comes because they feel funny about you staying in the room. But on the first night, I'm staying. I misinterpreted the whole comment. Okay. All right, now I got to go for real because it's getting cold and I don't turn the air conditioner is up too high. Okay, friends, I'll see you guys again next time we talk on this here channel. I'll be back in my house. Very excited about that. Okay. Bye. Happy Saturday.